Greetings and welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I'm your host, David Danto, and I have two great friends on the call with me. We're going to talk about what we're going to be doing in Denver in a couple of weeks. It's coming up really soon now. So, first of all, Tim Albright, the founder of AVNation TV. Say hi to everybody, Tim. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, you just said who I am. I'm the founder of AVNation.
You
I
must
run
have more
AVNation.
than that.
What? That's about all I do anymore, dude. I run AVNation. I have a podcast called AV Week, and heading out to Denver for CEDIA in a couple weeks.
What's the podcast called?
AV Week.
Gee, I don't know that one. I've never been invited to it. Got to work on that one. All right. And also joining me is my good friend Jason McGraw. Jason, how are you, sir?
I'm super, David. Excited to be here with you today and getting excited for the upcoming shows.
Now, as much as I know you, I know that's a lie because 2, 3 weeks before a trade show, things aren't good. If things were good, you wouldn't have a job. The reason you're there is because all hell is breaking loose and you're keeping everything under control. At least I assume that's true.
Well, I am very fortunate to have a esteemed list of terrific colleagues at Emerald, and everybody's working feverishly to address all customer service requests and order signs and taking care of all the details. So, they say it takes a village, and in our case, takes an army with all the exhibitors that are also doing all their last minute plans and preparations for the show. So, yeah, it's a lot of long days, but it's definitely very rewarding when we get to the finish line and the show opens and you look at all the effort and more than a year's worth of planning that went into having a tremendous event for the industry.
But, I'll ask you both because this is something that had come up while we were living through the pandemic, and now that it's officially over, even though still plenty of COVID out there, but it's not a big deal because of the medicine we have. But we missed these in-person events, and what we missed wasn't so much seeing the events and seeing the wares, it was seeing the people. It was all about the hugs and the getting back together with people and networking and understanding what's happening. Is that still the number one primary reason that we go to these events?
Well, it's certainly, there's really, in my mind, it's a three-legged stool, right? Attendees love to come to the show to see what's new. They want to see new products. They want to see the new brands. They want to know what's next. They come for education and knowledge, updates. And they come for the networking, to your point, David. I call it like, homecoming week. In the industry, you're going to see all your old friends and colleagues. You're going to meet new friends and colleagues. You're going to enjoy parties and get-togethers and dinners and happy hours. And I've said for a long time, unfortunately, technology has not advanced to the point where we can enjoy a beer online through the video screen. But there's that element of eating and dining and enjoying and commiserating with people. And, we're analog beings, human beings and our senses. And, it is something powerful about gathering together in one place and one time. And that's in human nature. So I think trade shows will continue to thrive because of that, that people want to get together and meet and commune and learn and see what's new and what's next.
Well, and Jason's right about the getting together, the breaking bread, but also the technology, right? We might differ on the level of necessity on education, because during the pandemic we all kind of figured out how to get education online.
Sure.
Certainly something, and yes, in-person education, depending on what type of learner you are, certainly there's type of people who thrive better in person. But those two things, the networking, the connecting with people, the ability for me to say, Jason McGraw, I've known Jason, and connecting him with somebody new happens more organically in person. But the other part is the technology, right? And I said this many times during the pandemic, you cannot experience the sound of a new speaker, the way something is processed, nor can you see the brightness of a projector or how it processes video online. That is impossible. And that is why, again, like Jason said, these trade shows will continue.
I love when I go to CES and some of the other bigger shows when you have, thousands of people with their smartphone camera out taking pictures of a video wall.
Mhm.
I'm not sure that, it's good to remember it by, but I'm not sure that it's really doing justice to the 4K image or whatever else we're taking a look at there. So you're right. It is kind of difficult to do the technology. Is anybody getting married this year? Who's this year's wedding?
I'm not aware of any wedding plans for this year, unlike last year, and that was something. That was a first in my trade show career. But yeah, a lot of exciting things going on at the show this year, and and that is adding on to what Tim said. I mean, that's part of the serendipity of coming to a show is you kind of know what you're going to know, but then you see so many things and have so many experiences that you're like, wow, that's what made it worthwhile, right? Like, and I think the other part, the social sharing, you're taking pictures, you're sharing because you were excited, you saw something cool, and you want to share that experience with your friends and your network, and amplify, like, for maybe not all your colleagues could make it this year, and hey, look at what I saw, or oh man, I had a really great time at the Origin Acoustics event, or whatever. And I that it is about technology, right? Technology has permeated our lives today, and we use it in so many ways, but that's also a way that amplifies the experience, the show. So I'll make a plug real quick. Download the mobile app and use the mobile app to help you navigate the schedule and floor plan at the show.
I'm excited that there isn't a wedding this year, honestly, because I was actually giving a course opposite the wedding that no one attended. So you let you
And
know.
see, I'm upset that there's not. I mean, Joe Whitaker is a dear friend. He's the gentleman that got married last year. Jeremy Burkhart could get married. I mean, Origin could just continue doing this every single year.
So you think we should set up like a show wedding chapel on the show
100%.
floor?
And then move it to Vegas and have Elvis do it.
Or if you've had a drone booth, I guess you could have a wedding booth, right? It's just a thing to do. But they might not be all that excited about it in Denver, considering what is it? The city's still under construction, right? It's a 40-year plan to finish 2 streets or something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know about the current construction update. There's still some work there on 16th Street, but
But the bear's still there, right? The big bear outside the convention
oh
center.
yeah, the big blue bear is there, and yeah, they're definitely making progress. They have their new Bluebird ballroom that was under construction is now complete. That's in the convention center, and
Okay.
if you can get up there, they have a great mezzanine that looks out, terrace that looks out facing west towards the Rockies. But yeah, I mean, there's always construction issues that
Sure.
impact progress, right? And then, it's no pain, no gain. And unfortunately, and just like, a lot of shows that are in Vegas now are experiencing the same issue as they're working on the convention center there. But
There, and especially with Formula One coming in over there,
yeah,
we're this time of year now where the streets get ripped up. But let's talk a little bit about what we expect to see at the show this year. I know I've had a couple of webcasts out where I had some of the moderators that are working on the IMCCA Unified Communications sessions. We've got some amazing people here. We got David Maldo is returning, Kevin Keeler is returning. My partner David Michaels is going to be moderating a couple of sessions. I've got a session that we're doing on the Smart Stage on Thursday, and the title of the session is like really long and complicated and wonderful at 12:30, but it's really what the heck is going on, because you know what, it's anybody's guess at this point. Return, remote, hybrid, who the hell knows? But I have Joel Mulpeter from Crestron, and Amelia Vrabel from QSys, and Katie McFarlane of Cisco, and Mitch Hershkowitz of Canon are going to be my panelists, and we're going to spend a good 20-25 minutes talking about what are they seeing? What are we seeing? What's going on? So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Kevin's presentation on AI, because that can't be changing faster. So actually, there's research that CNN put out that showed that if you add AI to the name, consumer confidence in it goes down.
I saw that. Yeah.
So we're living in some interesting times. What about you, Tim? What are you presenting on, or attending, or looking forward to?
So I'll give you the presenting. I'm on a panel on Saturday at 10:30. on the smart stage. But there's a couple of things. I mean, you mentioned it already with the IMCCA folks. That's UC and how that figures into both the residential side and the commercial side. I've taken to liking the work from anywhere moniker instead of work from home versus hybrid, work from anywhere, and how that fits into both the conference room as well as the home office. I have long been a fan of the term resi-commercial. You can take that from me when I'm long gone, but you will not take it before then, because there are so many commercial integrators that are finding themselves in competition with traditional residential integrators. And I think the addition of the CI Expo from Emerald lends itself to that and adds credence to that, because you've got the CI part of this show, of what is traditionally, right, the last 20 or 30 years has been wholly a home show, home technology show. You're adding the commercial side, because quite frankly, those dealers are dealing in the commercial side. So I'm looking forward to that. And purely because I geek out on stuff like this, the increasing popularity of DV LED, direct view LED in the home theater. Oh my Lord. Last year was one of the most fantastic displays and presentations that I saw that incorporated a number of different elements, including some pretty remarkable speakers, but amazing DV LED home theater system. So those
You,
are
you
mine.
you and I had this conversation about how we're at an inflection point that not a lot of people have realized. I lived through, you lived through, I think you lived through, I know I'm older than you, CRT to plasma, and then
Yes, I lived through that.
plasma to LCD, and now you've
I
got
played my original Nintendo on an old CRT.
there you go.
Yep,
Okay.
there you go.
I will never mind. I don't want to get into that contest with you, but we now all of the LCDs on the planet are being made by like three or so factories
Yep.
in Asia, and nobody's making any money on it. The profits are squeezed. Everybody's white labeling and rebranding, and now along comes DV LED, which on the larger scale is actually cost competitive inside boardrooms, and that's
Mhm.
just day one. As you get past day one and into the TCO of the product, you don't replace it every 2 years. There's no burn in. Now you can wrap it around columns and over ceilings and do odd shapes. So we're living through the beginning of the transition when LCD is going to give way to direct view LED and micro LED.
Well, 100%. And the other part about that is, as you mentioned, the TCO, the total cost of ownership. A module goes out, okay, who cares? You pop it out depending on the size of it, and you pop it back in, and bada boom, bada bing, you're up and running again.
And if you have to put in 130 or 140-inch diagonal display in a boardroom on the 87th floor, you have to book the freight elevator and ride it up on
Yep.
the outside, or maybe drop it from the
Or
roof,
take out a window.
take out a window. And now if you want to do that with DV LED, you just bring up the modules and assemble it in the room. So I think we're going to be hearing more and more about the companies that are working in the DV LED space and how that's breaking out. So that's a very exciting thing. So those are things what about you, Jason? Anything you want to talk about that's outstanding to you or that you're looking forward to, other than the whole show and being over and taking a week's vacation?
Well, I think this is the year where CEDIA, Expo, and CIX are fully illuminated. So there will be so many new lighting exhibitors at the show this year. Lighting is such a hot growth area in both channels, and we've just seen an explosion of the number of companies with low voltage LED, architectural lighting fixtures, lighting control. Then how do you control the light in natural spaces like motorized shades and screens? So that's grown exponentially even year over year. So we have dozens and dozens of those manufacturers exhibiting on the show floor this year, which is a huge opportunity for attendees this year to check out. We've seen growth in companies providing security solutions, as well as energy management is another area. And you definitely just talked about DV LED, micro LED. We have a number of LED manufacturers have joined the show this year that weren't there last year. AOTA, Absen, and others. And of course, we've had Planar and Sony and LG and Samsung in the show, digital projection, just video walls. I mean, we have companies that are be showing that technology on the show floor. And the other big part, of the show is kind of the resurgence of audio demo rooms and sound rooms on the show floor. We have more of those this year, more of them in the booths on the show floor. So the traditionalists that have been coming to show for a long time, the audiophiles in the industry that had their bread and butter from home theaters, will definitely love that. But as you talked about earlier, Tim, that's you can have a great picture, but you also need great sound to go with it, right?
Yep.
If you go to a movie theater and there's no sound, you got a problem, and so I mean, this is part of the whole experience, right? It's the audio, video, the lighting, and control, the whole environment, and I think that's there's leaps and bounds of new technology and experience level that's increasing, and will be seen at the show and then through the content classes. How do you design these systems? How do you provide for a better experience and better ergonomics and better acoustics, and I know the CEDIA conference program touches on a lot of those topics as well. And so I'm excited about that. Those features of the show floor. Plus obviously the large brands, the bellwether brands that some we've already named. They're bringing all their new products. They're definitely a big attraction for many in the channel who work with those brands. But then we have dozens and dozens of new first-time exhibitors. We have a launch pad area for new to market companies. We have lots of new brands, international brands, domestic brands, and a wide variety of products. So, it's a great way to discover things that you haven't seen or heard about, that might provide good tools for your applications or, client projects.
Yeah.
So
I'm friends with a mutual friend of all ours, I'm sure, Roberta Lewis, and she will not let me forget about all the brands that she's coming in representing in Denver coming forward. So, there's a lot of announcements from what she's representing as well.
David, I'm going to jump in on what Jason just said, though, that launch pad thing and CD's had that for a number of years. That to me is one of the most important parts of the show floor. I am not besmirching anybody's big booth. Don't misunderstand. But that is one of the most important parts of the show, because there you're going to find the innovation. That's where you're going to find the woman who came up with an idea in her garage and brought it to the show floor. That is the cutting edge, right? It may not work for you today, but dude, let me tell you, in a year or in 6 months, you're going to come up with a problem that something at that launch pad is a solution to.
Well, and it's our way too to help brands get a start. It gives them a platform. We promote those brands at the show, and it's always been a popular feature. And it's in the back of the hall, so you work your way through the show, and that's why we encourage attendees to, if you can, stay all 3 days. There's a lot to see. We have nearly 400 exhibitors this year, and so there's definitely a lot of companies to check out. Certainly the ones you've heard of, many you haven't, and you might discover something that's really going to help your business thrive.
Okay, so let's do some W questions here, Jason. Let's start with you and the logistics of this. When is this taking place?
It's coming up right around the corner very quickly. It's Wednesday, September 4th is the beginning of the conference program for both CEDIA Expo and for CIX. We have conference sessions going on Wednesday. The show floor opens on Thursday, September 5th, and runs through Saturday, September 7th.
And it's taking place at the Denver Downtown Convention Center, correct?
The Colorado Convention Center in downtown Denver. Yes.
Colorado Convention Center in downtown Denver. And registration is still available, right?
Oh, yeah. You can register in advance, which we encourage you to do, so you don't have to wait in a super long line. You can just show up and scan your barcode, pick up your badge, and you're on your way. You can certainly register on site. You can go to cediaexpo.com or expo.commercialintegrator.com to register for either show.
And I was smart this year. I'm taking all of my moderators out to dinner one night. I've already booked it. I'm not waiting till the last minute looking for a restaurant, because it's a very nice place for foodies down there, and the places get packed pretty quickly. So take care of that. Tim, what is AVNation doing from CIX and CEDIA Expo?
So we're hitting the ground on the September 4th. We've got a number of folks that we're connecting with. And then the show floor, honestly, we'll do interviews all 3 days. I mentioned before that I've got a session on the Smart Stage on Saturday at 10:30. But yeah, it really is kind of coming through. Last year, we spent a fair amount of time getting our bearings around the CI Expo. Last year was the very first, the first edition of the Commercial Integrator Expo, and so this year it'll be expanding on that aspect of it, but also, quite frankly, going around to not just the main exhibitors, but like I mentioned before, that launch pad is kind of figuring out and seeing what's out there and what sort of kind of jewels can we dig.
Mhm. And I'll be at the IMCCA booth while I'm not teaching any classes or attending any of the classes that my moderators are doing. It's interesting. We're going to have a nice little bench there where we'll have some work from home capabilities. Cisco is bringing us a Desk Pro Mini and a Desk Pro, or Desk Mini and a Desk Pro. I got to say that right. We're kind of hoping that some of the other manufacturers will give us some of their pieces as well, because these things are the definition of residential, where you take it and you drop it into somebody's house and you don't have to worry about them booting it wrong. It can be managed from the remote side. So we're going to have those working where people can actually walk up to it and put their fingers on it and test it. So that's going to be exciting at the IMCCA booth. And we will have our moderators kind of standing by there if you want to ask them any follow-up questions or anything going on, sort of an ask the experts thing. And who doesn't have questions about AI? Every time I listen to Kevin Keeley speak, I learn 10 more things about what's going on with AI. So it's going to be a great opportunity. It's going to be a great show. I love the time of year being in downtown Denver, and everything's really very convenient. And I'm really looking forward to it. So, last words, gentlemen. What should we give people as a parting message, Jason?
Super excited about the show. Hope you'll join us. Spread the word. Tell your friends and colleagues, and you don't want to miss it. There's always something new, as we've talked about today. Every single year, I get it. People can't make it sometimes, but I think you'll regret not visiting the show this year and seeing what's new, meeting new colleagues, catching up. It really can help your professional development and your business growth in the coming year. And, we're super, super thrilled to have everybody there. It'll be fantastic to see all the smiling faces and shaking hands and hugs and high fives. And as you mentioned, David, there's nothing like it. And we'll look forward to seeing you there. I'll be there in the lobby opening morning. So please come down, say hello, and join us. I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah,
McGraw will be one of the guys with the big giant pair of scissors at 9 o'clock on Thursday. For us, honestly, it's a couple different things. First of all, if you're going, cool, awesome, groovy, right? Connect with Danto, connect with me, connect with Jason. Let us know what you see.
Neto will be there.
Netta will be there. Mark Coxon will be there. You all already mentioned Amelia. I mean, all kinds of folks will be there from the commercial side. So yeah, back to Jason's point about it being Old Home Week, that's right there, part of the fun. But the other part is AVNation's covering it. A bunch of other of our colleagues are covering it. If you're not going, pay attention to it at least. It is a show that I actually have not heated arguments, but strong discussions with some integrator friends of mine, continually asking me every year, well, why are you going to CEDIA, right? CEDIA is a home show. And this was honestly, Jason, before the CIX part, but it continues to be a home of innovation for just AV generically. Yes, a big ginormous TV in somebody's bathroom probably will never make it to a boardroom, and that's fine. But the actual innovation that happens there, the launch pad and everything else, is an important show for us to be there. So yes, it's awesome to connect with old colleagues, but it's also really great to see what's coming down the pipeline and see what people are coming up with.
And I'll add to what both of you have said. I not too much that I would expand on what you've said, but if you're in the Denver area, my God, why aren't you showing up to this thing? It's definitely worth your time. Spend a couple of days there and learn what's going on. And if you're not in the Denver area, if you're not aware of it, Denver's a hub.
Right.
You can take a very inexpensive flight from either Houston or Newark or LA or San Francisco, and be there in a couple of hours. And you know what? It's probably really worth your time.
Right.
If you've not flown into the area, other than the schlep from the airport to downtown, which is just the schlep out of the airport down that never-ending.
Well, the airport's almost in Kansas.
Right, exactly. but other than that, it's a really I can't remember the last time I comfortably left my hotel room comfortably. Now that's an important thing, like it's not 98 degrees and 98% humidity, where I left my hotel room, walked across the street, and was in the convention center. And there were friendly, nice police officers and traffic people holding traffic so I could walk there and go in. It's a really great experience that you should really take another look at the airfare and go to Orbitz or go to the United website and join us there, because it's really worth it. So, gentlemen, thank you for spending the time. Thank you for this reminder. I'm going to see you in Denver in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
Couple weeks.
Looking forward to it, and looking forward to it as I do every year. So thank you very much for watching, and we appreciate you joining us every week, and we'll see you next week.